This is my KMP1033 with a side locker. I'm going to do a toolbox tour today. This is a 3-bank. It's got 2 long drawers, 1 double bank drawer, and the rest are the regular skinny ones. It does have a power drawer as well as a speed drawer. I'm going to be going over my locker also. Alright, let's get right into why we're doing this. I had to move this box home in order to recover from some medical issues. I went ahead today and put the locker back on. My last employer didn't have enough room for me to have this box and the locker, so I had to take the locker off and consolidate everything into the box. Gave me a good opportunity to clean it up and get some stuff organized and remember some of the stuff that I had that I completely forgot I had. So it's in my garage currently. I should be moving it back to the shop pretty soon, I would hope. So let's get into this. Alright, so I'm a diesel technician, so still using standards and metrics. I have this side is all standard, this side is all metric, minus my big 3/4 sockets in the back. Those are all standard. Couple of metric. Starting over here, I go 1/4 inch, 3/8 up to here, and then my 1/2 inch. I've got shallows, mids, and deeps on the 12-point. Don't use those very often. It's probably a wasted purchase. Those are Snap-on 3/8 impacts. These are actually Clutch, which is the Northern Tool brand. Really happy with those. Then I got the regular chromes, deeps and shallows as well. These are all Snap-on 1/2 inch chromes, deeps and shallows, Clutch 1/2 inch drive impacts, shallows and deeps. Then I've got some bigger sizes from 1 1/16 up to 1.5 inch Snap-on shallow and deeps. Got a set of crow's feet, missing one. Swivels, Snap-on. Couple of Mac and Snap-on crow's feet, as well as a torque adapter. Got a Snap-on 1/4 inch drive set, a couple of swivels, a long 3/4 for the brake cans on a big truck. This yellow box here is all adapters from all different sizes to all different sizes. I'm digging through that pretty much daily. So here are my ratchets. Couple of 1/2 inch long, couple of 1/2 inch short, some 3/8 flex heads. This one's not locking. I don't like that, so I got this locking one. I like this a lot. Then I bought this one that flips side to side. Alright, that is very handy. You wouldn't think it would be, but comes in handy. Alright, and then some regular 3/8 ratchets. This one is probably my favorite. It's got the soft comfort grip, which is torn up, but I still like it. Fine tooth. And then a flex head stubby. These are all Snap-on. 3/8 wobble extensions. Bunch of other extensions. The wobbles are great. Wobble Plus. I got some Nico Allen sockets, basically. They go pretty big. These are standard size. Going over here, I got a Matco Silver Eagle Torx bit set. I use this pretty good. They're kind of cheap. I wish I'd have gone Snap-on with those, but you know, it is what it is. Then I've got, let's see, my metric Allen sockets, 1/4 inch drive, shallows and deeps, Snap-on, 3/8 shallow and deep chrome, Snap-on, and then my shallow and deep 3/8 impacts are clutch again. Got a set of 12-point metric shallows and deeps for 3/8, and then when I get into the 1/2 inch, I have shallow and deep clutch. Those are metric, and a set of shallow chromes. Not sure why I went with those. I don't really use them very much. I use mostly the impacts. Got just a couple of 3/4 inch drive accessories. I got an extension there, universal joint, and a long breaker bar. I do have a, yeah, there it is right there. Right there in my adapter box. So I've got a 3/4 or a 1/2 to 3/4. So once I break it loose, I can just use one of my big 1/2 inch ratchets. Click style torque wrenches. I got a 1/4 inch pound, then a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch foot pound. Regular size and long Allen wrench sockets, and then some big 1/2 inch ones, some big 1/2 inch ones here, and there's a couple of metric ones. Let's see, that's pretty much it in this drawer. I mean, it's your typical socket drawer. I've got this big Matco 1/2 inch drive ratchet. It's absolute junk. I don't know, I'm not really happy with Matco. Mac and Snap-on I'm pretty happy with, but alright, so that's just like everybody else's top drawer. Let's take a look at the second drawer. Alright, typical wrench drawer. I go 3/8 to 1 5/8 on the Snap-on open and box stand wrenches. I've got a few big offset box wrenches with a slight offset. I've got some with a big offset, and then some of the smaller sizes in regular offset, double box stand. And then those are all Snap-on. Got a Snap-on ratchet wrench set. Love this, fine tooth. Let's see, Tecton metric stubbies. Moving over to my metric side, I've got some Icon, believe it or not, ratchet wrenches, metric. They work pretty well, actually. I was just testing them out, and they're not bad. Double box stand, standard offset. My metric wrenches go from 8 to 24, and then I've got a couple here at 19 to 22 double open, and a 30-32. Got these clutch, which once again is a Northern Tool brand. Got these great big crow's feet. Goes up to what, 2 inch, 1/16. So that covers the gap after the ones I have in my top drawer. Got a bunch of brake tools here for big trucks, and that's pretty much about it. I've got some Craftsman no offset ratchet wrenches. I use those to cut up, as well as some old Craftsman wrenches. If I need to make something, I'm going to do that with a Craftsman versus doing it with a Snap-on wrench. Alright, next drawer down, my screwdriver drawer. Got regular screwdriver set like everybody else has got. I've got some ball Allen, small pick set, small screwdriver set. I've got some, those are all Snap-on. I got these Mac picks that I've had forever. Absolutely love these things, they're a little longer. Then if I need to bend something up, make it fit, then I bought these cheapos. It's a Proton picks. Got the 3 standard length and 3 long for radiator pick set. some interior panel tools. This thing I love. This is called Superman's thumbnail. No matter what you've got to pop under and pry, if you think that a pry bar is too much, then this is, this is perfect. I mean, you can do interior panels with this. You can do pretty much anything. Little pair of tweezers, some more screwdrivers and stuff. Then I got some scrapers. What I really like to use for gasket scraping and stuff like that, if you're real careful, you can use a wood chisel. Okay, very easy to sharpen and keeps a good edge and gives you a really crisp scrape. Also, from the carpentry world, a cabinet scraper. This is great for getting that little bit of stuff that's left after scraping with a normal scraper. Then I've got some oil filter wrenches. All right, speed drawer. Couple of micrometers. A couple of calipers, micrometer, dial indicator, hydraulic test stuff. Some stuff I use every day, scrapers and electrical tape and paint markers. Got an assortment of feeler gauges, some engine turning tools for an MX-13. Got this piece of crap. This is a lock and lube. Had that on my grease gun. Can't stand it. All right, that's that one. So I've got the normal Snap-on set here. Little channel locks, dikes, needle nose, regular pliers. Got some long needle nose, a 45 and straight. I got a set of these automotive wrenches. These work great for hydraulics. Got these are my electrical crimpers. Okay, for non-insulated, insulated pins like Deutsch connectors, stuff like that, and of course wire strippers. Do a lot of electrical work, so have a variety. Then I've got the old standby kind of cheapos, and those work good too. Couple of side cutters. Snap ring set. Davco filter wrench. Got a big automotive wrench, same as these, just considerably bigger. Takes a cheater pipe really well. Got the Snap-on PWZ2. Love this set. I think I bought this. I wanted to test it out and see if I wanted to get the bigger set, and yeah, of course I do. Got some hose, crimping pliers, then just some random stuff in here, some big channel locks. I've got some Blue Point hose pliers. These work pretty well. I find that I'm going to use a pick more than those. All right, some vice grips. I'm trying to rush through this and get to the good drawers. Everybody shows these same types of drawers. Here's my hammer drawer. All right, I got my hammers and pry bars. Nothing special in here. Brake spring tool for big trucks. I prefer this one over some of the other ones that I've seen. Got a witch's foot. I wish I had the indexing one, but these work really well. I have a whole set of them. They work really well for pulling injectors and stuff like that. All right, moving down. All right, got a big U-joint puller press thing. Works great for pulling U-joints out of big drive shafts. Got drive line sockets, metric and standard. what I really like about these is that I can use them on other stuff as well. Well, hi there, puppy dog. How are you? So I have those in standard and metric, the JIC cap and plug kit. Nothing special there. Sunex, 3/4 deep impact. Let's see if I can get that open. That goes from from 3/4 inch all the way up to 1 5/8 inches. So that definitely gets me to my bigger sockets. Covers that gap. Box full of abrasive dips and the wrenches for all of my die grinders and stuff. Got a Titan bit set. Nothing major there. Mac tool blunt air hammer bits. Assorted air hammer bits. I really like these if you're in a big truck world, driving out the anchor pin and bushings, doing brakes. These work really well. A lot faster than using the press. And of course, I have the Mac air hammer. I prefer this one over Snap-on. Easier to work on and oil if I have to. And it hits extremely hard. Snap-on cutoff tool. Got a IR one there. Die grinder here, which is Mac. Snap-on drill. Alright, and that's pretty much it for that drawer. Alright, call me a Milwaukee fanboy if you like. Driver. 3/8. 3/8 stubby. It's my favorite. Use it all the time. Hey, get out of there. 1/2 inch stubby. This thing is a beast. Okay, for 1/2 inch air, I'm using an AirCat 1150. I had a Snap-on, that died. I had a Blue Point, that died. I can't kill this AirCat. Got the big 1/2 inch. Got a big AirCat 1770 XL 3/4 gun. And my only DeWalt tool left is a drill. Alright, my charging drawer, got some lights in here, charging. I got my little M12 batteries, got a bunch there, and I got this one. I love this thing, XC 6.0. And then I got a bunch of the M18 batteries, 3 or 4 of them. One of my favorite tools lately, because it's wintertime up here in Maine, it's a Noco Boost HD. This thing works extremely well, okay? That is a beast of a jump pack. This one's the GB70, it's got a 12 volt, 2000 amps, and I don't doubt it at all. Alright, got a DeWalt with a couple of DeWalt charger with a couple of batteries back there. Paperwork drawer. Just like everybody else. Alright, drill bits, taps and dies, metric standard. I like these Irwin ones. Regular drill bits, 2 sets of left-handed drill bits. Got this Mac extractor. I prefer a welder for extracting. I got these long Mac die grinder bits. Really don't like these as much as the short regular size ones. All right. Down there is just a bunch of junk. All right, in here, I have a couple of things that I'm going to spend a little bit of time on. But I've got all my flashlights and stuff over here. Neat little trick with a pencil. Heat shrinked a magnet in there, so I can just clip it there. Got some gloves, 3/8 ratchet, a light, 2 multimeters. I'll get to that in a little bit. The normal stuff here, tape measure, knife, a couple of torches. The reason I have 2 is because I want to be able to grab one. If it starts to run out of fuel, I can just grab the other one. Now, I have 3 test lights. Okay. I've got the Snap-on LED, shows you all the voltage, all that stuff. Yeah, that's great. I've got this mini one. Anybody that has ever watched Scanner Danner knows that this is the Scanner Danner light. That's all I know to call it. This is my go-to. It's an incandescent bulb, so it actually draws amperage. This one doesn't draw a lot of amperage, and I've actually been chasing my tail a couple of times because that one wouldn't show me a bad circuit. It showed voltage, but wasn't trying to carry any amperage. So this one will carry a little bit of amperage as well as this one. I use this one primarily as kind of a jumper wire sometimes. Okay, and that light bulb in there is gonna kind of protect it, and it's an incandescent bulb also. All right, so that's why I have 3 of them hanging up here. And that's my go-to. This one is an OTC 3633. That is an awesome light. Get it on Amazon. It's cheap. Works amazingly well. All right, that's it for the main box. Now let's get into the locker. All right, I have the normal stuff on the door, some chemicals. I was working at night, so I got a headlamp here. Use that quite a bit. A couple sets of ear pro, little funnel, one of my lights. I don't use this light very often. It's kind of cumbersome. A couple of clipboards. That's pretty much it there. You're going to notice that I did not show you a monitor with a scanner and all that stuff hooked up to it. I don't have that stuff, and I'm going to tell you, I don't begrudge anybody that does have that. I just feel like in my line of work, there's either number one, there's a better way. Number 2, I can't have my toolbox exactly where I'm working all the time. Now, what I mean by there's a better way, scanners are great. I'm going to let the shop buy that, keep it updated and all that stuff, and it's going to give me the information I need. But there's a few other things that I like to have. Like this DS212. It's a 2-channel mini labscope. Okay, I can have this thing hooked up in about 3 minutes and checking 2 signals at one time. Like I said, it is 2-channel. We'll go over this in a minute. If that doesn't work for me, I've got a Pico 2-channel. Don't let me lie to you. It's a 2204A. It's a 2-channel labscope. This thing is amazing. Watch Scanner Danner. And of course, I've got all of the accessory to go with it. We're going to go over this in just a minute in a little more depth. Let's get through the toolbox tour, and then we'll go over some of this stuff. All right, typical wire terminal toolkit. I've got an infrared thermometer, power probe, the case to my Snap-on multimeter. I'm going to go over this also more in depth. This is a connector pinout kit. Set this aside, we'll go over that also. Oh, let's see. Alright, fuel and AC line disconnect kit. OTC. I like OTC for this stuff. They make a really good quality product. And I've never had any issues. A lot cheaper than buying Snap-on, that's for sure. Lyle also makes a lot of good equipment. This is the fuse and relay tester kit. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one. Alright, little box of jumper wires I put together. Got an air lift for filling cooling systems, and I'm going to set this out off to the side. We'll talk about it in a minute. Got the Milwaukee bore scope. Alright, so that covers that shelf. Now we're going to go to the next shelf down. This thing is amazing. So, talking about bore scopes, this is a test long bore scope. It's an endoscopic scope. This thing has, I'll pull the directions out when we go over this and tell you how long this cable is. It's a monster. It's very long. So we're going to set that off to the side. We're going to look at that compared to the Milwaukee bore scope. Alright, cooling system tester. Crimper, hydraulic crimper for the big battery cables. Got some, let's see, a weather pack, Deutsch, and another Deutsch connector set. Really isn't much on this shelf here. Just a bunch of random junk. Okay, so my first drawer, my locker, a lot of electrical stuff. Milwaukee soldering iron. Love that, especially with that big battery. Got some thread sealant, some couple of RTV, a longer tip for my Snap-on test light. Bunch of different colored Sharpies. Got these back probe pins, T-pins. Got them from Hobby Lobby. Those work really good. Also from Hobby Lobby, got a seam ripper for opening up harnesses. Solder, as well as rosin, and then liquid black tape. So everybody jumps all over everybody for having to stab a wire, and we live in a salt state, okay, where they put salt down in the wintertime. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do. It's what you do after that that is going to make you the hack, or the decent technician. And that's putting a little bit of liquid tape over that hole, okay, really sealing that hole back up if you do have to stab a wire. I try not to, believe me, I try not to, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Got a bunch of different 12 gauge, different colored wires. I got some 18-3, 2 in, that's a 16 gauge, 2 strand, and 14 gauge 2 black and red. So use those when wiring stuff up. Anytime that I solder and I put a heat shrink over, once I'm done soldering, I'll put a little bit of this silicone paste. It's basically a dielectric grease. It says so right there. And I do that and then heat up the heat shrink to shrink it, and this will come right out the ends, and it shows you that it's protected. I got a push button starter, OTC. I actually use this for more than just bumping an engine over. I can use this on pretty much anything that I want to use that as a momentary switch. And a bunch of zip ties. Alright. Most shops have all of this stuff, but I've got some small P-clamps, some uninsulated crimp connectors, some heat shrink connectors. Got an AC toolkit. It's got all the Schrader valves. So if I need to do that, AC, O-rings, flat face O-rings. These three are heat shrink. Got some big battery cable ends. And that's pretty much it. Just random, you know, I got some connectors and stuff in here. Now the shop normally has all that stuff, but I like to come over and grab what I need, and then I'll just replenish that from the shop stuff. There's the junk drawer right there. This is pretty much just a bunch of crap. I do have some stuff I use in here, acid brushes, got some spare wrenches and tools, but it's mostly just junk, as well as this Load Pro thing. I bought this because it had really good reviews. That is, I'd rather just use a light bulb if I'm going to load test a circuit. And then just some random stuff. I got some wire brushes, a grinder in here, my welding gloves. Now up on top right here, I have a pack out kit from Milwaukee. Got the thin one and a bigger one. That's just a jump box for me if I've got to run out on the road, do some work, get a truck running or something like that. It's got some basic random tools in it, some wrenches, some sockets, some wire, little pry bar, and a little multimeter. That's pretty much going to get me going. I don't have to worry about filling a bag full of tools. I can just grab this. It's about 50-50 Snap-on and Craftsman, and you know, whatever. I mean, if I lose it out there, I lose it. It is whatever. All right, so on to the in-depth stuff with the bore scope and the lab scopes. All right, if you're going to be doing any kind of electrical work, you're going to want to get one of these kits. Got this one off of Amazon. It comes with a couple of jumper wires. What I really like about this set, if I can get it out of there. What I really like about this set is it has these alligator clips that I can clip right onto my multimeter, okay? So instead of having to hold my ground on there, I can clip it on and then just do whatever work I'm doing with the positive side. But the meat and potatoes of this kit is all the different pin connectors. So if you're trying to take a connector and just stuff, okay, if you're taking this washer pump here and you're trying to test some stuff, all right, and you just start jabbing in your multimeter leads, a couple of things might happen. You might damage the connector, or you may not make contact. So you might replace this thinking, you know, I didn't have any continuity, there's no resistance, you know, whatever the case may be, and you replace that because your multimeter leads are too big to get down in there, okay? Or they touch together, you didn't see it, you know, something. So you want to use something like these, that you can plug that into the connector and then test from here, okay? So this is, if you don't have one of these, or if your shop doesn't have one, they're relatively inexpensive. I'm going to put a link down in the description below for this specific kit. It's amazing. And you can buy the pieces to replenish it if you do break one or lose one. So there's that. This is the DS212. This is a very tiny lab scope, okay? Very tiny. And what you can do with this is, let's say you're working on, I don't know, something with a Delphi injector, okay? You can see the injector ramp, you can see the amount of current that it's pulling, the control voltage, you name it, okay? And you can see little blips. So this multimeter, when that looks at voltage, it looks at kind of an average. Like, it does move around, but it's an average. You're not going to see necessarily those little blips. Those little blips where it drops power, or it drops a ground, or something like that, or your amperage spikes or dumps off. You're going to be able to see that in real time with a lab scope. What I like about this little tiny thing is I can just grab this, plug a couple of leads into it, and I'll show you those in a second, and I can plug into whatever I need to and see if it's acting the way that I think it should, okay? Whether that's a cam sensor, a crank sensor, anything to do with the injectors. What I like to use it for is CAN bus faults. If your CAN bus drops communication just for a second, okay, that could give you an issue. We had a truck that in the shop that was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and the data lines were corrupted, and in order to find out which lines were corrupted, I just hooked this up with a long extension, and I went component by component that were on that specific network and unplugged them one by one. As soon as it cleared itself up, I knew that the last thing I unplugged was the bad thing, and what that ended up being was a radar on the front of an International. So I can use this here with the little tiny cables that it came with, okay? And I've done that. No issue there. I can run this little cable and whatever. It's, you know, it's fine. It's got a little ground clip that clips in here like that. So you clip that in, you can clip that to ground. You know, it works fine. It works good. No issues at all. But what I like to do, and there's a reason I like to do this, and let me get it all out for you. Alright, so this is my picoscope. You need a laptop for this. I do have it, obviously. But I don't want to set all of that up if I'm just testing something real quick. Okay? So I'm going to come over here. This is a little messy. 2 amp clamps, by the way. So I'm going to grab this set of cables, which is 2. I'll probably never be able to get that separated out. Oh, geez, look at that. All right. And what I did was I put these ends on here, these adapters, that allow me to hook to this little tiny lab scope. Okay, now I have a big long cable. What I get to do with this is that connector kit I was showing you earlier hooks right on here. Okay, regular banana clips. I've got a ground and my test circuit line. Okay, that's one channel. I'll get in there. All right, there's 2 channels. So I hook both those grounds together, ground them off somewhere. I can use my connector kit, hook this to can positive, hook the other one to can low, high and low, right? And it'll show me the highs and the lows on that can signal. Kind of lets me know what's going on. I can see it. Okay, if I use a multimeter, I know that, you know, my high is going to be 2.6, you know, whatever. But I can see it on the labscope. Now, if I do find a problem, I leave everything hooked up exactly the way I have it. Okay, and that's the point of using these 2 longer cables. I hook everything up. I use this little labscope. Everything looks fine. I'm probably going to move on, right? I'm not going to suspect that I have an issue that the labscope is going to help me out with. However, if I see something like an injector ramp that doesn't look right, or, you know, whatever on the little scope, now I'm going to pull out my laptop. I'm going to pull out the picoscope, and I'm going to hook that up. Okay, and I'm probably going to get the amp clamps out, and I'm going to really start chasing that, because chances are that's where my problem is. I mean, if I saw an issue, you got to chase down that issue, right? Okay, so that's what I use that for. So that's how I use my labscope for electrical testing. I can also do mechanical testing with it. Okay, this is a pulse sensor, I guess. It's got a piezo sensor in here that senses, very sensitively, senses puffs. Okay, puffs of air, pressure, vacuum, anything like that. Okay, anything that affects that piezo sensor, whether that's pushing against it or pulling away from it. So let's say you got a bad valve, you're leaking some compression stroke into your exhaust. Okay, I can stuff this into the exhaust and it is going to pick that up. All right. Now for bore scopes. I am very particular when I buy a tool. If it's a socket or a ratchet or, you know, a whatever, right, something chrome, I'm probably going to buy Snap-on. I have a lot of trust in Snap-on's tool making capabilities. What I don't have with Snap-on is a comfort with their price. Okay, so I wanted to buy a Snap-on bore scope. I ended up going with the Milwaukee bore scope, and it was okay. Okay at best. Let me grab a battery. All right, is that going to show at all? See how I'm just looking around at stuff? Don't look at the light. Okay, that's looking at itself. Looking at my camera. All right, so that's got a pretty decent picture for the most part, but I was looking for something better. So I did a lot of research and I found these test long scopes. Okay, that's how long this thing will reach. Okay, I think if you stuff this in the air cleaner of a big truck, you would see it come out the exhaust. I'm just kidding on that. It's probably that long though. Okay, not only does it take an amazing picture, okay, hopefully that's aimed at something. Okay, it's an amazing picture, but it records. Okay, it records, it takes pictures. If you notice right now, it's looking at stuff upside down, so you can flip that, and it does it the right way. Okay. This is very hard. And it will take pictures, and it will take video. Look into this test long. Look into these bore scopes. These bore scopes are amazing. And look at the length of that cable. Okay. Now, the other reason that I got this one. Okay. Hopefully that. I always hate people that do that. Oh, geez, I hope that's focusing. All right. Look at the difference in the size of those probes. That is, this one is twice the size of this one. I can fit this in an injector hole in a big truck, okay? Can't do that with this one. The other good thing that comes with that Tesla bore scope is all these little adapters. One of them, I'm not going to pull it out because I'll probably drop it. I usually do. One of them is a magnet, and it has a hole in the middle so you can see where you're going. So let's say you want to, let's say you look in an injector hole, you're looking at the top of the piston, and you see some stuff, okay? You don't know what it is. You could potentially put the magnet on there, run that back down in the hole, and see if it'll pick it up, okay? It's amazing. There's a little hook. What I like to use the little hook for is you can run the camera in, you can see where you're going and behind the engine or something like that. And if you need to hook onto a wire or, you know, something like that, you can hook onto it and see that you're hooking it, and then pull that wire out to you, or, you know, whatever the scenario is. Only thing I don't like is it doesn't come in a nice case, and I don't want to put it in my Milwaukee case because it's a lot better than my Milwaukee, I'll tell you. All right, so that's the quick down and dirty toolbox tour. I didn't take as long with some of the, you know, sockets and ratchets and this and that as some other people do. I really wanted to show you the lab scope. If you don't have a picoscope, if you don't have some Snap-on scanners, you can get everything to run a 2-channel scope. Play with it, practice with it. You can get online and find so many known good waveforms, okay, that a lab scope is going to tell you. I mean, it's such a better diagnostic tool. You have to understand the circuit, what you're working on, and be able to translate, I guess, the waveforms to really what they mean. But there are a lot of good waveforms out there, known good waveforms, that you can bounce yours against to see if it really is bad or not. You can do relative compression with them as the engine's cranking. As a piston comes to top dead center, building all that compression, the starter motor actually takes more current, okay, more amperage to get past that little bit of compression. So what you're going to see is a spike in amperage, okay? And what you end up with is as it's cranking around, you get a spike, a spike, a spike, a spike. If those spikes don't match, so if you've got maybe a burnt valve or something like that, and 1, 2, and 3 all look good, but 4 isn't spiking as much amperage, that's a telltale sign that you've got an issue. So it doesn't give you compression, it gives you relative compression. So relative to all the other ones, what's this look like? Some of the other things that you can do, you can see the mechanical movement of the injector, okay? The injector solenoid as it fires as a blip, okay? There's little telltale signs in all those waveforms that, you know, a Snap-on scanner or, you know, J-Pro or something like that isn't going to tell you. It's not going to show you what that circuit's doing. So definitely get into looking at lab scopes. Are relatively inexpensive if you just buy a 2-channel like I did, or use your Snap-on scanner. I think Autel might do it too. All right, thanks for watching. I'm going to put a bunch of links down in the description below for some of the things that I pointed out. The wire connector kits, the stuff like that. A lot of it's through Amazon. I like buying through Amazon, so check out the description. Get some of those links. Really look into LabScope. There's tons of training online. Check out Scanner Danner. I'm going to put his link, his Facebook, his YouTube, all of that down in the description. I don't know the guy personally. He doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. I'm not sponsored or anything. Not sponsored by anybody. But yeah, definitely check that out. And all right, have a good week.